Ian Kogan again, Man Cave Classroom in A10, and today we're going to be talking about, with the United States has already entered World War One, and among the many things they're going to need in order to help to win a war, probably first and foremost is troops. The munitions, the bombs, the bullets, the beans, and all that other stuff, and the bucks, we'll get to later, but we're going to talk about today pretty much how they're going to encourage young men to want to go over and, put their lives on the line in hopes of winning this particular war. So
yeah, because don't forget, okay, so we declared war, but it's not like the next day we're sending over soldiers. We've got to first recruit,
right,
then train,
yep,
for this new type of warfare, trench warfare, and then get them over there. There's so much that goes into the logistics of warfare.
And there's so much that they're going to be learning on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
We have advanced technology now. We're now into the 1900s, so that whole fighting the Civil War on an open battlefield, one shot, reload, all of that's gone. Now we're getting into semi-automatic weapons, we're getting into tanks, we're getting into chemical warfare. And, with all that said, flamethrowers, now we have to encourage, young men to, want to go out and actually do this. And we're going to look at some posters today that kind of give you an idea of what the mindset was like, and we'll talk about how that may have impacted young men who were looking at that.
And even the fact that, if you look at the wars throughout our history up until this point, you're fighting for freedom.
Yes.
In the Revolutionary War. You're fighting to maintain said freedom in the War of 1812. You're fighting to abolish slavery and preserve the Union in the Civil War.
Yep.
The Spanish-American War, it's like, well, Cuba's right here, and
right,
there's all these war crimes going on. We got to help them out.
We're talking about a war that's across the Atlantic.
This is the first real war where it's
right,
why are we even getting involved in this?
And yet you have young men in late teens, early 20s who probably never really left their hometown for the most part. So the president's going to call for a war declaration, stronger Navy, new army of 500,000 men, full cooperation with Germany's foes. We're not even really ready for this war as well. And first things first, we're gonna need guys. Popular song that comes out of this era, Over There by George M. Cohan. We would sing it for you, but then you would go to another website, and that would be really bad. But pretty much when you're looking at Over There, we're talking about over there, over in Europe, and this is one of these songs that's good to analyze when we're all together.
Yeah.
When we're talking about encouraging young men to want to go over and fight, and again, a lot of the
it was inspirational.
Oh, inspirational, and a lot of the target audience for this particular lesson is going to be young men between their late teens, early 20s. And of course, it's 2021. That's a lot different. But these posters are definitely pointing at young men to go and enlist and fight.
And I find when we listen to that song in class, it's like these kids are like, this is supposed to be inspirational, and it's again historical perspective.
Right.
It's 1917.
It's catchy.
It's not for us Rage Against the Machine.
No, it's not.
Or for them, Lil Wayne or Lil John or Lil Baby or whatever you guys listen to.
I don't know. I have no idea, but. The guy who wrote it was George M. Cohan, who also wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy, and if you
considered the founder of Broadway.
Oh yeah, popular in vaudeville, writer, director, singer, you name it. The guy could do everything. But his statue's still there.
Not Kogan.
Kogan. So, getting into certain things that were being done during World War One. This one is over in England. What was happening here, and this is kind of interesting.
This is great.
Oh gosh, I felt bad for these guys, maybe. So anyway, here's what happened. Since the war was taking place over in Europe, and it was going on, and people's daily lives were impacted by it. So if you had young men walking the streets in England, chances are they were probably wearing a military uniform. If they weren't, what would happen, and this is really rough, women would go up to them and give them a white feather. And the white feather was like, okay, you're a coward, you're not enlisting like these other men are. And it was just a way of public shaming. And even here, it's like suddenly producing a large white feather. She jabbed it into his waistcoat. And in another tone, fierce and scornful, she added, "You coward, why don't you enlist?"
And it was like, and if you were seen with a white feather, ultimate embarrassment, which is also inspiration to stuck a feather in his hat,
yeah,
and called it macaroni.
Yep.
People don't recognize this, but the Macaroni Club was a club over in England
Yep.
at the time that was like a, how do I put this, like a all men's club.
Yes.
And sophisticated, fancy men that
Yep.
were not considered manly men.
Yep.
So,
I mean, a public way of shaming
Yeah.
works. You don't have to. The government doesn't have to go and pay for a propaganda machine or posters. It was interesting. Some of the sources I came across, you would have some men that go, "I am in the military. I'm just not wearing my uniform." Oh yeah, that's what they all said. I mean, it was pretty horrible as to what went on.
Yeah.
But this was one of those things for cowardice. This is what they would do to these young men. But when we get into now encouraging them, the posters from this era, there are thousands, all with such vibrant colors like this, but all, are really great when it comes to this. And when we're looking here, the conscientious objector at the front, while the shot and shells are flying, the mighty cannons boom, he's tidying up the trenches with a dustpan and a broom.
so you understand what a conscientious objector is?
Yes.
It was an actual thing that you could say that it's against my religion or it's against my conscience to go and kill somebody.
Still a thing.
Still a thing. Great movie about a World War II conscientious objector who actually served and was given the Congressional Medal of Honor.
I've seen it. Does
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge, yes.
If you haven't seen it, he's a deeply religious, devout, Quaker, or I forget what exact religion, but he was a
Don't hold me to
pacifist.
it yet, I
Did
don't
not believe in war, so he served as a corpsman, I believe.
Yes.
As a corpsman, as a medic, and he saves countless lives during the Battle of Okinawa over in Japan.
But
Or Okinawa.
the amount of adversity he faces
Yeah.
in the beginning when it comes to not wanting to hold a weapon, you kind of connect to this poster right here. You did have conscientious objectors that were serving in the military. They weren't serving in like a combat type of role. And, they would be doing, I guess you could say, support by giving out food or whatever the case may be, or in this instance,
You were the
cleaning.
you were the reporter. I was just watching Full Metal Jacket last night, and when they're over in Vietnam, and the guy who's the head of the press corps, he's like, I don't want to go to the front line.
Right.
Like,
You're in, but you're not doing
you're not
what
really
these
in.
guys are doing or fighting in the trenches. So here we go. When you're looking at the pressure they're putting on guys, to the young women of London, this is rough. Is your best boy wearing khaki? If not, don't you think he should be? If he does not think that you and your country are worth fighting for, do you think he's worthy of you? Oh, hold on, but wait, there's more. Don't pity the girl who is alone. Her young man is probably a soldier, fighting for her and her country, and for you. Oh my gosh, join the army today. Wow.
it's like, do your duty, get your man in khaki. If you're not, you're a coward too.
Right.
For not wanting your man to serve.
Like, it's not enough you have the feather, but then you also have to see this walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. When you also look here, what's going on when it comes to getting people to enlist, I mean, of course, this is really popular. We can even go back to the Spanish-American War, where we're showing our enemy as this savage ape brute. And, again, there's good guys and there's bad guys. And, of course, everybody thinks they're the good guys. And when we look here, here you have Germany as this brute. The helmet now, it says militarism on it. He's holding this white woman, who's, it's really giving you, yeah, I know. People don't know. Yeah. You didn't even notice that. But then it's encouraging you to enlist, or this is going to happen to your home.
Yep.
And if you look at the background, everything is just
ruined.
destroyed. I know you like this.
Yeah.
because here's the England version of this.
The inspiration behind it. So what I love about these posters, it's a technique that was actually created by one Leonardo da Vinci during the Renaissance, known as linear perspective. And this is what in class it's so much better.
Oh yeah.
Because no matter where you're standing, he's looking directly at you and he's pointing directly at you.
Oh my God, it's creepy.
Yeah, no matter where you are
Always
in the
creepy.
classroom, no matter where you are. And it's almost like, I'm gonna go out of frame for a second. It's almost like you come walking by and you're like,
Still looking. Still looking.
why is he looking at me? It really makes that personal touch that there might be a crowd of 50 men looking at this poster,
Still looking.
but yeah,
It's creepy.
but he's looking
Yeah.
directly at you. it is that linear perspective technique. These are using it as well. If you've ever gone to a museum, you know, it is that creepy feeling that like this person's watching me. Scooby-Doo does a great job with that too. Like when they walk past it, they walk past like
the pictures. I mean, and again, you know, who's absent? Is it you? There's, you know, again, guilting you into going there. Britain's wants you, join your country's army, God save the king. What's missing in line here? You. I mean, again, when you're looking at how they're trying to get you to enlist, whether it be, you know, shame, guilt, you're not a man, you're a coward.
Personal.
Yeah,
this makes it personal.
They're playing on a lot
Uncle
of different
Sam's
emotions.
looking at me. Right now he's looking at me, and he's also looking at Mr. Heat.
Right.
You know, he's probably looking at the camera at you.
Yep.
It's that linear perspective.
I mean, today you have Twitter, you have Facebook. We got TikTok or whatever.
Space Jam.
You have all of these mediums that we have to kind of get the word out on certain things, and then of course there's a hashtag with it. During this time period, you have radio and you have posters. And if you even look here, sub-spotted, let them have it. You know, again, there's like a little bit of a touch here when you come talking about the unrestricted submarine warfare, the sinking of the Lusitania. When we look at some comparisons here too, England does a great job with this. Women in Britain say go. And we could sit here and go through each one and spend a good 20 minutes on it. But, you know, what are you leaving behind, guys? Are you going off to war? You know, women and children.
What's worth fighting for?
What's worth fighting for?
There's nothing greater fighting for than your family.
This one's always good too. You know, there's so many different emotions.
Which side of the window are you? I mean, it's like, yeah, this guy's probably thinking, oh my God, I'm a coward.
Right.
There goes my friends, there goes my neighbors, there goes my cousin, you know, off to war, and I'm sitting here with a bow tie on, you know, having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
And what would be interesting is that you know that there are people after the war that still existed. It would be interesting to see what this guy had to say here. You know, life in the trenches. It was rough.
Or
it was
what
tough.
this guy's future children are gonna say.
That as well. And then it's like, what was life like? What was life like at home? I saw posters calling me a coward. I had women, you know, stuffing white feathers in my pocket. And you know, there's all these things that they kind of play on. And exactly what you're saying here. You know, there's that whole living life with regret.
Daddy, what did you do in the Great War?
Oh my gosh.
And by the look on his face,
yes,
makes me think he was one of the cowards who didn't enlist. That he was, you know, busy, you know, drinking his tea and investing on Wall Street. Well, that wouldn't have been Wall Street then.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and the funny thing is that this kid is probably going to grow up to fight World War II.
Right. And he wants to hear a good answer.
Right, because he's sitting here playing with his soldiers on the ground.
Right.
And you know, it's like, yeah, I didn't do much because I love this one too.
And it's like, you know, there's the regret, but then here's the other one too. Gee, I wish I were a man. I joined the Navy.
Questioning your manhood. Questioning it. Because, again, historical perspective, women could not serve in the military back then. So it's like, if I were, I would.
They were? It just wasn't really frontline.
Right, they're certainly not in combat.
They were
really nurses.
Yes.
They were in the military as their traditional role as a woman in society.
Clerical.
Because don't forget, this is also pre-19th Amendment.
Right.
That women don't have the right to vote.
But we're getting closer to it. And again, when you're looking at these comparisons and you're looking at the emotions, I mean, today if you had to go
and do it.
Right. I mean, when you look at the recruiting today, if you look at a good recruiting commercials, I mean, they're like epic blockbuster films almost.
Mm-hmm.
And
explosions.
Oh yeah, and the military's really clever for it because it's usually during March Madness when that's taking place because you have young men and now young women, you know, who are getting ready to graduate high school, and they have these epic films pretty much in 30 seconds. And you know, when you're looking at what are the benefits of joining today, learning a career that can pay you, that can prepare you for after the military, money for college, stability, healthcare.
See the world.
See the world. You know, you're not seeing any of those things in there. There's really nothing in it for you personally.
You know where I've never been? I've never been to Japan. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you go there?
All the military.
Yeah. I got the white feather.
And then we had mandatory Marine Corps Fun Day, which was climbing Mount Fuji. But, you know, again, you get to see the world, but you're doing it under somebody else's terms. I didn't stay at the Radisson, you know. But, you know, again...
I've never been to Iraq. I've never been to Kuwait.
But when you're looking at some of these guys, though, when it comes to opportunities and like living life with regret. There is an opportunity to travel. You don't have a lot of rich kids who are enlisting. For a lot of these young men who are the target audience, this is the way for you to kind of move up the social pyramid. You often have a lot of middle class, mostly poor kids who are going to be intrigued by this. This is going to be a way to get out. This is going to be a way for me to, get money for college, use that GI Bill, all these things.
Something Britain also did was they went into their prisons.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, you've only got like 3 years left on your sentence. If you enlist, we'll let you out.
Yeah.
So
We did that.
yeah.
I mean, it's not a desirable job. I've been doing it for over 16 years now. I never come across too many Harvard or Yale graduates. It's not that appealing because, you have certain people who have more opportunities than others. But, for these guys, this is definitely a way out. It's a way
For a
to
better
explore
life.
for a better life.
Just don't be a coward.
Yeah. But
Don't be a
but
coward.
the emotions that they use here, there's really not too much in it for you
Yeah.
personally to gain from. So they have to really play on these emotions.
And just wait, the World War II ones get better.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh man, forget it. Can you picture the hashtags that would come out of this time period?
No.
Oh.
No. We talk about internet trolls today.
Oh, yeah.
People would be trolling a guy like this
Oh yeah.
to shame him
Oh.
into joining.
He'd be taking a picture on InstaChat or whatever it is, and taking a selfie.
This is the type of guy who's
Yeah.
like taking a picture of the meal he's about to eat
Oh.
while wearing a fedora. With like a sweater tied around his neck today.
Oh.
Sipping a latte.
Oh gosh.
Hashtag look at my meal, and then like somebody like you in the military is gonna just troll him to death. All right.
I think we're good there. You want to go troll some people? I think we got
Good
everything.
one.
Thanks for watching.